Alright guys, third story for the day. We're going to talk about Dominion, the raid over in Germany, and releasing the Kraken. So, Nazi so this is Snopes' original, well, I believe they've changed this, actually. I believe originally they said no, that Nancy Pelosi is not linked to Dominion or whatnot. But now it says that House, if anyone's got an archive of the original, let me know. Post it, Twitter it to me or something like that. Is Nancy Pelosi connected to Dominion voting? Dominion voting has hired lobbyists to connect to members of both parties. Social media also alleges that Dominion voting systems were involved in some sort of voter fraud because they had worked with the persons connected to right-ranking Democrats such as Nancy Pelosi. The aftermath of the 2016 election and intensified scrutiny was focused on America's voting system in general and Dominion's system in particular. The latter is one of the largest providers of the election equipment and software. They hired lobbyists to assist with the company's interactions with the U.S. Congress. Nadim Estem, Pelosi's former chief of staff, was one of these lobbyists, as Bloomberg News reported. Dominion, however, also hired lobbyists connected to the Republican Party. Now, this is where it gets interesting. A New York Times, for example, reported that Jared Thomas, who once served as chief of staff, Republican for Georgia, Brian Kemp, and also a lobbyist for Dominion. The Election Integrity Partnership, a collapse of research entities focused on preventing attempts to delegitimate election results, as looked into by some of the fraud claims levied against the Dominion systems, labeling them as false. So, obviously at the end of the day, we now have the Dominion confirms Clinton Foundation donation and former Pelosi staff member was linked. Dominion Voting Systems has refuted claims about being biased towards Democrats officials during the November 3rd election, including allegations about raid on the server in Germany, as well as ties to Dianne Feinstein. However, it did note that it made a donation to Bill and Hillary Clinton operated Clinton Foundation and did not dispute that the former staff of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi was hired as a lobbyist. That is a little bit different than what you're claiming here, Snopes. And no, you did not say them about giving money to the Clinton Foundation. In a lengthy statement last week, the Colorado-based voting systems provider first refuted that it had no ties to Systematic and other voting software maker, but did note that the two firms worked together in the Philippines and said it brought some assets from Systematic links Sysquo about 10 years ago. Adding to the two companies had legal disputes. Some Trump campaign officials made claims in recent interviews that Systematic had links to Dominion. Dominion has been the center of controversy since Election Day after Antrim County, Michigan, showed Joe Biden beating President Donald Trump before the results were reversed, with county officials saying the error was due to the county clerk not updating software. The firm confirmed that it made it had made a donation during the Clinton Global Initiative meeting in 2014, but asserts that it had no company ownership relationship with any of the Pelosi family and the Feinstein family and the Global Clinton Initiative, Systematic, Centel, or any other ties to Venezuela. Which is weird because I thought they actually were used in the election for Venezuela. But regardless. According to the statement about the Dominion, it fell in full. The firm quoted an Associated Press report saying that the Dominion made one-time philanthropic commitment to a Clinton Global Initiative meeting in 2014, but Clinton Foundation has no stake or involvement in Dominion's operations, and the nonprofit confirmed. It added that the meeting included bipartisanship attendees focused on international democracy building. Dominion linked to an AP report that noted former Pelosi Chief of Staff Nadim Estem, might be mispronouncing, is part of a lobbying team that represents Dominion according to public disclosure. Adding that the team included Brian Wild, who counts Republicans as former House Speaker John Braden, and former Vice President Dick Cheney among his past bosses. I don't care who this man's past boss is. I want to know, is he deep state? That's what I want to know. Trump campaign attorney Sidney Powell over the weekend alleges that Systematic and Dominion were used to bolster Biden over Trump. We're getting ready to overturn election results in multiple states, Powell said on Fox Business, adding that she has enough evidence of election fraud to launch widespread criminal investigation. I don't make comments without having evidence to back it up. And I want to second that. Sidney Powell is a lawyer. Whether you like her or not, whether she represents people that you like or not, here's the facts. She cannot make claims without backing it up. She would get dragged before the bar or gets put into court for slander or whatever it may be. She knows this because she's a lawyer. They stick a thumb drive in the voting machine. They can upload software to it, even from the internet, from Germany or Venezuela, even, Powell said, adding that operations can watch votes in real time and they can shift votes in real time, or alleged bad actors can remote access anything. We've identified mathematically the exact algorithm they used and plan to use from the beginning. They allegedly switched votes to Biden, Powell said. Dominion has no responded to a request for comment about Powell's claims. Funny that, isn't it? So Brian Wilde is a English actor. Okay, must be a different Wilde, but anyway, let's keep moving. So funny they haven't responded about Sidney Powell's claims or allegations, isn't it? Dominion is in a statement as asserted that the claims of voter fraud are conspiracies and that 100% false. It's funny because we just talked about in the first video something that was considered a conspiracy 10 years ago. But regardless. The firm cited the U.S.'s Department of Homeland Security, Cyber Security and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA, which called the 2020 election the most secure in American history. The agency failed to disclose, however, that Dominion voting system is a member of CITAC's Election Infrastructure Section Coordinating Council. So, you know, the deep state really does run wild, doesn't it? Meanwhile, Systematic in a statement said last week that it has no ties with Dominion. Now, obviously, the biggest thing here is obviously Trump tweeting out, big moment moments ago in Venezuela. In Nevada. This is yesterday. All Democrat County Commissioner race on the same ballot as president, just thrown out because of large-scale voter discrepancies. Clark County officials do not have confidence in their own election security. Major impact. So we also have the rumor, and I'm putting it as a rumor until I see proof. The U.S. military has raided and seized servers in Germany tied to Dominion election system. So people on the ground in Germany report that Sintel, which hosting your election data improperly throughout Spain, routed throughout Spain, was raided by a large U.S. Army force, and the servers were seized in Frankfurt. The Spanish software company Sintel, which sells election manipulation software worldwide that was used in the USA, is on the verge of bankruptcy. The server for the manipulation was in Germany. Here, did the US raid European software company Sintel and seize their servers in Germany? Our intel says yes, it happened. So earlier today, Representative Louis Garment told Chris Scala on Newsmax that people on the ground in Germany reported that Sintel, which hosted election data improperly through Spain, was raided by a large US Army forces and their servers were seized. The video went viral. Now, obviously, Reuters is claiming that this is not true. The US military has not seized election servers in Germany. Now, obviously, you have to get past the headline because the headlines are always misleading. But, they don't seem to be disputing it really well. They just claim they don't have proof. But anyway. And also Centipede Nation, which I don't know, left, right, whatever. They've also gone through and claimed that Sintel is the technology is invented in Sintel. They'll be both managed and hosted by the US, by a local subsidiary, SEO software based in Tampa, Florida. We do not tabulate or count votes in the US. We do not provide voting machines in the US. We do not provide online voting to the US jurisdictions for the US elections. We do not have servers or offices in Frankfurt. The US Army has not seized anything from Sintel in Barcelona, Frankfurt, or anywhere else. We are not owned by Soros. We have no ties to Systematic, SGO, or Dominion, and we have no ties with Russia. But this just coming out earlier today. Breaking ONA just reported data seized in a server seized by the army shows President Trump won by a landslide. Now, obviously, guys, take this with a grain of salt. But reportedly, Trump won 410 electoral votes, and Biden won only 128. And there have been some discrepancies that have been found through the recount. Georgia recount finds 2,600 uncounted ballots in Floyd County. So Floyd County Secretary of State announced Monday that Floyd County had discovered about 2,600 uncounted ballots during the state's manual recount of the vote. It's weird how they always seem to go one way, doesn't it? And this is not the only thing. There have been counties that have flipped. They've been, they went through and hand recounted a couple of things. I think it was over in Michigan, I want to say. And those were thought to be Democrats, and they were flipped over to Republicans when they did a recount. There's a lot of shady stuff going on with this election. And today we're just waiting to see what happens with Sidney Powell. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are in that comment section below about anything we talked about today, especially about this raid. Do you have any proof that it happened? What are your thoughts? Do you think it's just a QAnon thing? Or do you think it's legit? Let me know what your thoughts are in that comment section below. Apart from that, guys, obviously this video has been helpful. Please smack that like button. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. Apart from that, guys, if I tell you what, if Sidney Powell has something, you're running out of time, it's time to release the Kraken. It really, really is. If you have something, show us. And let's get it over and done with. Apart from that, guys, have a great night, enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you in the next demonetized video from YouTube. Have a great night and enjoy.